What's going on, guys? Dwayne here with How to Build Credit TV, and in this video I want to talk to you guys about my next credit card. It's been a while since I've applied for a credit card. It's definitely been over 2 years, and currently my credit scores, my FICO scores, are all above 800. Of course, I don't know exactly because I don't pay for like credit monitoring or to see my FICO score, but I do know that on Credit Karma my FICO scores are over I do know that on Credit Karma my credit scores are over 800, and for me my FICO scores are always higher than what's on Credit Karma because Credit Karma is a Vantage score. So I do know the next credit card that I'm going to apply for, and it was definitely tricky just because it took me such a long time to go from wherever I was at the beginning of my journey in 2013. And I say wherever I was because I don't remember exactly what my credit score was back in 2013 to even say, yeah, I started here. I don't know. But my credit was jacked up and I started to rebuild it back in 2013. And it took me probably 9 years to get to an 800 credit score or above 800. It's one of those things like the journey is probably more value most of the times than the actual destination itself, right? Of course, arriving to the destination that you've thought about for the longest is always cool and exciting, but then after you've been there for a while, it just becomes normal, right? The ceiling becomes the floor, right? So the ceiling is where you were striving for, and then eventually you get there and it's now the floor and you're striving for another ceiling. So it's just one of those things, if you're fortunate enough to be able to accomplish things in life that makes you feel good, then it's obviously a good thing. Listen, if you're new to this channel, my name is Dwayne, and on this channel, How to Build Credit TV, I talk about credit cards and how to make money using credit cards. So be sure to subscribe and click the notification bell so you don't miss a thing. Okay, so so the next credit card I'm gonna be getting is strictly because of what the card offers me and the fact that it doesn't have an annual fee, right? So this is a live stream, so if you have any questions or comments, feel free to slap them into the live chat. I'm gonna tell you guys right now, as soon as I figure something out, exactly which credit card I'll be getting next. And it's not like you guys care. I'm just sharing information because, you can have I guess like a snapshot into, what it is, someone like me is doing in regards to credit. Now I have, I think 24 credit cards right now. So, once again, it's just one of those things. There's not a lot of credit cards out there that get me excited that I need to be applying for. As a matter of fact, I'm not even excited about this credit card per se, but I do like the fact that I will be getting a statement credit of $200. So without further ado, the next credit card that I'm going to be getting is the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. And that particular card it's pretty straightforward. I can't complain. Let me share my screen with you guys so you guys can see. So here's the card right here on the screen, as you can see. And it's just a credit card from Wells Fargo. And it says Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. Earn a $200 cash reward bonus when you spend $500 in purchases in the first 3 months. And of course, once again, one of the things that's insanely attractive to me is the fact that there's no annual fee. So it's easy for me to get this card. And in addition to that, you're going to get unlimited 2% cash, 2% back on all your purchases. And so there are a couple of credit cards out there that offers 2% cash back with no annual fee. But once again, what I really like about it is the fact that there is a $200 cash reward bonus that you get after spending $500. And so one of the ways that I, when it comes to credit cards and why I should apply and why I would suggest somebody apply, it has to make sense for you. And for me, I have a checking account with Wells Fargo. I started my very first banking relationship with Wells Fargo a million years ago, probably back in probably before 1999, but I know for a fact that 1999 I certainly had an account with them. In 96, I graduated high school. I was 17, turning 18 in 1996. I feel like I had an account before that, but maybe it was a different bank, because initially it was a different bank, and then that bank became Wells Fargo as far as where I lived is concerned. So I've been with Wells Fargo for quite some time. And so for me, it's a no-brainer, because I do have the checking account with Wells Fargo. And the reason I have that checking account is because I signed up because they had a $300 offer that you got if you met whatever the requirements were at the time for the Wells Fargo checking account. So I had Wells Fargo for sure back in the day, got rid of it, got it back, got rid of it, and I finally got it back again. I think I signed up for that checking account like last year sometime. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. Man, I haven't gotten a super chat in a million years. Thank you so much. Love Blue 973. That's very kind of you. Says, hey, Dwayne, it's Sexy Devil 78. Yeah, it is. That's who it is. I changed my handle and picture. It's been a minute. Hope all is good. Congrats on them 800 scores. Yeah, everything is incredible. Thank you so much for that super chat. Like I said, it's actually been a minute since I got in a super chat, but you know, it is all good, and you've always been very kind and gracious when you come into the chat. So thank you, Miss Love Blue 973. I really appreciate that. Once again, this is a live stream, so don't be shy. If you have any questions, comments, or concerns, slap them into the chat. It makes it very easy for me to answer you guys' questions. So, of course, there are people coming in and out of the stream. As you're joining the stream, the credit card that I'm going to be getting is going to be the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card. It's a 2% cashback card on all your purchases. It has no annual fee, and this is one of the main reasons that I'm enticed to get the card, is the fact that you're going to get $200 back after spending $500 in the first 3 months. When it comes to credit cards, the way that I approach the sign up offers, or even deciding to get the card in general, is, am I going to be able to spend that money in that allotted time? Okay. So for me personally, it's always easy to get a credit card with a sign up offer. And then of course, a $500 in 3 months spend is beyond easy to do. I mean, you can easily spend $500 in 3 months by just putting the purchases that you make monthly on that credit card, whether that's your cell phone, your gas for your car, your electricity, your groceries, your internet/cable. I mean, easily, you know, your car insurance. Easily, we're over $500 for the average person right there. So you can meet that $500 minimum spend in 1 month, you know. So that's always very, very cool. And the fact that you're getting back $200, I mean, that's, you know, almost 50%, right? Let me see how much percent it is. Is it 40%? It is. It's 40%. You're getting 40% back of what you spent, of the minimum spend, which is $500. So for me, that's a no-brainer. And cards like these are easy credit cards to kind of get your feet wet with. Speaking of get your feet wet, please smash the thumbs up in this video. That helps the channel and this particular video quite a bit. So be sure to smash the thumbs up. So yeah, for me, that's kind of where my love for credit cards started. When I started back in 2013, I just had a regular Capital One Platinum card, which had no benefits. There was absolutely zero benefits for that credit card. And then that was in 2013. And then in 2014, I got, it was the Capital One Quicksilver card. And that was 1.5% cash back on everything. And that was kind of my introduction to the world of cash back and points, right? But of course, I didn't know jack about points, so I wanted to just get started with the cash back because it's simple. You know, I use the card, I get 1.5% cash back. Doesn't seem like anything special, but it adds up quickly. And so with a 2% cash back, you can imagine that, of course, you're going to get $2 back for every $100 you spend. Now, if you do nothing special and just use the credit card for things that you have to pay anyway, like normally, you're going to rack up cash back. And I do understand that there's an extra step in paying your credit card bill. But me personally, my advice is always just pay the bill. Just pay the credit card bill once a week, you know, or if you're a nerd like me, you might charge it on a Monday and pay it off on a Wednesday. You might just, you know, pay it off as soon as the transaction posts, right? Most of us are going to be on our phones anyway. So, you know, we'll check the bank account. We'll get on Instagram, and then we might check this app or that app. At least that's what I do. There are apps that I check every single day. My checking account might even be one of those apps, right? Even though it's not like I need to check every day because I'm worried, right? But I don't know. It's just what we do. So when I pick my phone up, of course, I'm going to go to YouTube like all the time because that's what I do, right? So I get on YouTube, maybe listen to some motivational stuff or some stuff that, talks about mindset, right? Because it's important for us to take care of our mindset. But yeah, these credit cards, with this particular card, the Wells Fargo Active Cash card, it's a no-brainer. Now, if you're someone that's interested in getting that particular credit card, I think one of the things that's undervalued and kind of done away with is the importance of being patient and taking things in the necessary order, right? Now, of course, you don't have to, just, take baby steps. However, it's smarter if you decide that, I want to have a relationship with Wells Fargo, and the easiest way to do so is to get a checking account and a savings account with them, right? So you get that account. Of course, Wells Fargo is offering a sign-up offer for their checking account. And so just meet those requirements, get the account with Wells Fargo, the checking account, and then that's kind of the slow, patient way to pursue having a credit relationship with them. Now, of course, Wells Fargo is debatable, arguably tricky, right? But that same thing and that same procedure you could employ regarding any of the major banks that you want to get a credit card with, right? Chase is another good example. Bank of America is another good example. Even Citibank is another good example. Of course, there are other banks out there, other players that you may be interested in getting a credit card with, or even going so far to have like a personal loan. Well, I don't know who would get a personal loan now because the interest is going to be ridiculous, but like a car loan or a mortgage, right? Or home loan. And so it makes sense for you to do the necessary steps and just be patient. A lot of people don't want to do that. You don't want to do something starting today that's going to pay off in 6 months to a year from now. And, the truth is, that's pretty much life. If I want to accomplish something, it'd be good to get it done now, right? I wish I could just snap my fingers and just, be ripped and have a 6-pack abs and all the stuff, right? Because these are my fantasies, right? I guess I could be a millionaire too, right? It'd be dope if I could just snap my fingers and that would happen, right? But there's beauty in enduring and going through the necessary steps and going through the process. There's a process most of the times to transitioning or transforming your body from where it is now to where you want to be. And it's never instant. You know what I'm saying? Like, even me being a man, I'm very lucky and I can see changes pretty quickly, but it's still not instant, right? I'm not going to go and, hit some crunches and then like tomorrow morning when I get up, I see the formation of one of my abs, right? It doesn't work like that. So there's value in the fact that some things take a while, and in those things taking a while, like I can have an appreciation for it, right? That's the journey again, right? Before getting to the actual, accomplishment or where you're trying to be, which once again, once you get here, the ceiling now becomes the floor, and there's another journey, at least if you're interested in becoming a better person and all that good stuff. So yeah, very excited about this particular credit card from Wells Fargo, and absolutely going to pull the trigger on it. Let me show you guys where my credit scores are on Credit Karma. It's been a minute, actually. I don't think I've done a live stream since before my birthday, which is interesting. So here we go. I'll just show you guys real quickly where I'm at. So this is on Credit Karma, and I'm still not perfect, right? Like, there's still room for improvement. Of course, you guys can see that my average age is 5 years and 4 months. It needs to be at 9, right? So that's why it's in yellow, because it needs to be better. Of course, there's 0 inquiries. So you can see my payment history is 100%, credit usage, it's less than 1%, no derogatory marks, credit age or history, 5 years, 4 months, total accounts 39, hard inquiry 0. And so 818 is where my score is with TransUnion, and 819 is where my score is with Equifax. So that's pretty straightforward there. Just to kind of give you guys an idea of where I'm at. And that's where it is now. It took 2 long years for my inquiries to fall off of my credit report, and I waited. I mean, I didn't pay anybody to take them off, which somebody might want to do, but I didn't. And I can't lie to you guys. Like, after a while, there's not a lot of cards that you're going to be excited about getting, and there's not a lot of cards that's going to make sense to get. For someone such as myself, I have a lot of available credit, right? Like over $200,000 worth of available credit. I wish I were doing something with it. I'm not, but that's what it is. Okay. I'm going to jump into the chat and answer you guys' questions here. If you have any at all, be sure to ask them. We got it's Quasia. What's going on? It's a pleasure to have you back in the building. Says back again, or should I say back again? That's funny. I like that, actually. That's very, very smart. It says thumbs up this stream. What's going on? My homie Tim is in the building. Tim says, hey D, hope all is well, man. Just gonna get all the cards. Just gone get all the cards, man. I wish. I wish. I mean, honestly, like I said, there's not a lot of cards that kind of get me excited. And I'm not going to lie to you guys. I was kind of eyeballing getting one of the PenFed's credit cards. And before I did the video, I did the pre-qualify deal on PenFed's website, right? PenFed Credit Union. A while back, I saw if I was pre-qualified for one of their cards, and then I saw if I was pre-qualified for another. And I'm not going to lie, I fudged my income. So the first one, the income was reasonable. Then the second one, I bumped it higher. I don't know why I did that. And then I actually did another one today before I did this live stream. And maybe I put 3 different incomes. I don't even remember what I put now, to be honest, right? But today, when I did it, because I was kind of serious, I was like, you know what? I'm going to do the pre-qual, and then I'm going to probably apply for it, get the membership with PenFed, and then get this card. And they basically, like, I don't want to say flagged my account, but kind of flagged it, right? I don't have an account with PenFed, but they kind of flagged it and was like, oh, we're sorry, at this moment, we don't have any cards that, we can offer you. Keep in mind, the first time I did the pre-qualify, it was like, you can be possibly approved for $15,000. I was like, sweet. Second time I did it, bumped my income up some more, and it was like, you could be approved for $10,000. Oh, what the H? And then this time, they basically just like, kind of probably put like some kind of alert on my social, right? Because of course, even though it doesn't impact my credit score and it's not a hard inquiry to see if I pre-qualify, something happened. So I was like, all right, you know what? It kind of hurt my feelings a little bit just because my credit score is so high. So, you just think, oh, I should get approved for everything, right? But there are obviously factors to, when it comes to getting credit cards. I feel like credit cards are harder to get than getting like a car loan, to be honest with you, right? I just do. So anyway, I will be applying for that Wells Fargo Active Cash card, and of course I'll keep you guys posted. Maybe I won't do a video showing the application process, which I've done those videos in the past, but I definitely will do a video once I get the card or something like that. We'll make sure I talk to you guys and let you guys know what my credit limit is and so on and so forth. Once again, if you guys have any questions, feel free to slap them in the chat, and I will do my very best to answer it. Thanks. Give me 1 second here. I hope that you guys are doing well. Obviously, it's Labor Day. I hope that you guys' day has been going well. It has gone well. Mine was pretty interesting. So last week, I finally had a good week with Uber. It had been a minute. Uber has been insanely slow. So I was very, very happy to have a productive week with Uber and make like all kinds of money. So very happy with that. Unfortunately, since today was Labor Day, I was like, should I get up early? You know what I'm saying? Because like last week I got up at 3:45 every day except one day. So I started driving at 4 a.m. every day last week except one day. And then Sunday, even yesterday, I got up and started driving at 4. I stopped at 7 because I don't know, I was just super tired. So I was like, man, F this. You already made quite a bit of money. Just go ahead and go to the crib. And then today, Labor Day, I started driving at like almost 7 o'clock in the morning, and I really wasn't committed just because like it's Labor Day, and I just figured it was going to be slow. So I didn't even get a ride. I was just like, you know what, I waited like 10-15 minutes, and then I was like, I'm good, and I just called it quits. All right, so I'm jumping into the chat here. We got my homeboy Tim in the house. Tim is a channel member, says, hey, D. Okay, we already read Tim's comment. We got Tara in the building. What is going on, Tara? It's such an honor to have you in the building. I know it's been a minute since I've been here, so appreciate seeing you again, as usual. Tara says, good evening, everyone. Then, of course, we got Love Blue 973 with that $10 super chat. It's an honor seeing you again in the stream, as usual. Diamond's in the house. Diamond says, hey, Dwayne and Credit Fam, it's been a long time. Yeah, as a matter of fact, I'm going to look and see the last time that I did a video, right? Because, like, before I did this stream, I was like, yo, I haven't done a video in a while because, like, I turned 45 in June. And I know, like, normally if I did anything around my birthday, people would have been like, yo, happy birthday, blah, blah, blah. But that didn't happen this year because I was MIA for my birthday. So I know it's been quite some time since I've done a live stream or just a video in general on this channel. So, yeah, I've been doing my thing, just chilling, relaxing, I just taking life easy and, getting on here when I can and not being stressed out about it. I do, as long as my voice works, I do plan on being on YouTube for the long haul. And sometimes that means, you got to chill. Sometimes you can get burned out. Not that I would say that I was burned out because I'm not, but yeah, I love it. Honestly, I love being on YouTube because it's so cool. Like, I get to document my journey, and I think that's kind of fly. It's been interesting. You guys have seen, you've seen me kind of go through, transformation, if you will. If you guys are watching these videos, you definitely have seen me, kind of be kind of juicy, kind of chunky, and then you see me where I am now, and then you've seen everything in between, which I think is rather interesting, to say the least. Okay, so yeah, so I'm looking at it. The last live stream I did was July the 17th, and then the one before that was June 5th. So I definitely was not on here for my birthday, which, like I said, I celebrated my birthday. So I'm 45, this was 45 looks like. I'm so grateful, so proud of myself, so happy. Anyway, if you guys have questions or comments, slap them in the chat. We got Johnny Sevenfold says, good to see you again, my Dwayne, my brother. I got the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card just for the $200. You see what I'm saying? Like, for me, it's a no-brainer. And honestly, back in 2018, and I'm certain I made videos in the past talking about this, but back in 2018, I applied for like 5 cards starting in August. I got a Discover card in August 2018. I got the American Express Gold card. I got the US Bank Cash Plus Visa Signature card. I got the Bank of America, some red card. It was from Bank of America. And I got the Citibank Double Cash card. I got those cards basically from August, September, and October. And I had about $800 of cash back that I got between those cards. And in my mind, it was easy. I'm like, yo, I'm gonna get these cards and I'm gonna use that 800 to buy gifts for Christmas. Like, no brainer, right? That's one way to look at it. You can look at it as you're getting something for nothing, or you're getting that cash back, or you could say that, yeah, you got to spend the $500, but they're going to give you $200. So then you could say, well, I'm really just spending $300. It depends on how you want to look at it. When it comes to like cash back or points, especially cash back, I like to splurge. I like to let my cash back build up and then just blow it if I want to. I don't put pressure on myself to be productive, right, with the cash back, right, or responsible, right? I'm not like, yo, I got all this cash back, but I have to spend it in the most responsible way. Nah, I might just blow that, you know what I mean? Because like, it doesn't feel like it's money that I'm spending, that it's like my money, even though it's obviously my money and that I am spending. But I don't know. I just chill and I blow it, you know. It's definitely easy to spend that money on my kids. You know, like if it's Christmas or their birthday or something. And speaking of kids, man, I got some old kids, you guys. My son just turned 21 in August and my daughter's 19. Yikes. You know what I mean? Like, they're at that point where, you know, they don't really care about what their parents tell them. You know what I mean? They're not listening anyway, and they're trying to figure it out, you know. And it's kind of neat to be at this point of parenthood, and to remind myself, like, what were you doing at 19? What were you doing at 21? Were you listening to your parents? Nah. You know what I mean? So, like, don't take it personal type of thing. We got True Benjamin in the building. He says, about to get my Saver 1. There you go. That is a solid card. As a matter of fact, I got mine chilling right here. But it's a solid card. The Saver 1 is a very solid card. I was very, very lucky because I kind of got grandfathered in to the upper version of the card. There's 2 Saver cards, right? And I think I had the Capital One Platinum card. And then I did a product change to the Saver 1 card eventually. Like, they finally let me. Like, the first couple of times I requested it, they were like, nah. And then they let me. And so then once they came out with the Saver card that has an annual fee, they grandfathered me into it. So I'm very fortunate. So anyway, Dwight, what's going on, my man? Thank you so much for stopping by. It's a pleasure to have you in the building, of course. Appreciate you. Let me see something. Dwight says, what's up? What up, Dwayne and Credit family? Yeah, man, you already know. Just in here in the building, chilling, living the dream. I can't tell you guys how incredibly awesome life is, you know. And you know what's crazy about it? Like, I was talking to my daughter yesterday when I was at the gym working out, and she calls me, and then I'm like, you know, I'm working out, but you know, whenever she calls, I know that, like, you know, I always make time for her to talk, especially if I'm not driving Uber. So we were talking, and whatchamacallit, I was telling her, I was like, you know, y'all are going to do whatever you want to do anyway. You know, y'all ain't listening. You know what I'm saying? So we were talking about certain things pertaining to life. And I said to her, you know, well, I mean, you should just like choose to see life as positive and choose to focus on the positive things. Just because the positive things is kind of what serves you. And honestly, like, focusing on other things don't really serve you, you know, like freaking out about the future or freaking out about the past doesn't serve you. Right. The reality is all that we have is now. You know what I mean? Like, it's crazy. I'm not saying don't care about the future, right? And don't plan for the future. But the reality is all we have is now. You know, the future's it's not guaranteed, but what I do have control over or what is most important is right now. And we should value right now as well. We should be living right now as well. And it's kind of funny that I'm saying that because, like, I am quite fixated on the future because, of course, financial freedom is a thing, and, you know, you can be productive by planning for it. But it's that delicate dance again, that delicate balance where, you know, you have to find a way to enjoy the now while still planning for the future. So, of course, any human being on earth that does any kind of self-reflecting or want to be a better or best version of themselves, you guys understand what I'm talking about. Let me jump back in. By the way, Dwight is a channel member. I appreciate you, my brother. We got Front Row Production says my credit score is 759 with 12 cards and 1 loan for $5,000 I took from the bank just to pad my report. Very, very good. Congratulations to you on that 759, my friend. I certainly remember when I was there in my journey, so I know that feels very, very good. Love Blue 973 says, I'll be 45 on the 29th of this month. Well, hey, happy early birthday to you. I'm sure I probably won't be around on the 29th, but happy birthday to you. That is exciting. And maybe you're like me. Maybe you're lucky like me. Like I look great for my age. I feel good. It's so funny because like I don't take the time to be proud of myself and kind of like, enjoy and appreciate where I am. But like I said, I love the fact that like in a way, I'm documenting my life through YouTube, right? Like, of course, I'm on here talking about credit cards and I'm giving my little 2 cents and, I'm helping, 1.5 people or person out there, you know what I'm saying? But like, it's really, really neat. Like when I was uploading a video for one of my other channels and I have a video from the past, and I kind of brought it up on purpose because I was gonna do a video talking about a video from the past, and so of course I brought it up. I opened it up and I'm like, "Yo, you were out of control in that video." I'll show you guys just for grins, right? I'll show you guys what I'm talking about, right? So you guys see me on the screen right now. Look at this. Look at your boy. You know what I mean? I was juicy in that, like I look so different. This young man on the screen that you guys see here, right? Like, yikes. I look pretty different than I do now. And I appreciate that. This video, of course, this video is kind of oldish, right? Like this video, it was about a year ago, I think, and then look at me now, you know what I'm saying? So I'm doing extremely well, man. I don't know. I just want to encourage you guys to get after it, whatever your goals are, whatever you want to do, and if you want to get better at something, like just be deliberate about it. You know what I mean? Be deliberate about it, be conscious, be patient with yourself, but try to value today as much as possible, not next week or like next month or like 6 months from now. Like value the todays. When you value the now and make choices now that's going to benefit you in the future, then your future will be different. And you guys, especially the people that's been here for a while, y'all know I talk about my health, I talk about my weight, and I talk about my weight because it's tied to my health, right? Like, it just is. I mean, for most people, your weight is tied to your health. If you're a smaller weight, more than likely you're more healthy. I mean, that's just what it is. All right, let me jump back in the chat here. Let me jump back on in the chat. Isquasia says, I try to save cash backs to high yield savings or for when gas hikes up. Yeah, as a matter of fact, that's another thing that's pretty smart. Man, I should have known from way back, like 2002, 2003, when they had like these online saving account or these money market accounts. Like I was doing that stuff from way back then, and of course everybody's leery, but it just makes sense. It makes sense to have your money in a place that serves you. A lot of people are so concerned with like, I got to have my money in this big name brand branch that's close to me, just because I just feel more secure. Like you're not getting anything for your savings in a big bank such as Chase, Wells Fargo, Citibank, that type of thing, right? Capital One's okay-ish, but of course there are banks that you may not know, like you may not see their commercials, right? There are no commercials, but those banks serve you more as far as what you're going to get percentage wise on money sitting in the bank. And especially right now, because the interest rates are stupid high, like 4%. Man, I don't remember interest rates ever being 4%. Like I don't remember ever getting 4% or higher for a high yield savings account or a high yield account or a money market account. I don't remember getting that amount. Now, of course, a CD is different. I think I had a CD once, don't remember, but I don't even think I got 4% on that. So it makes sense to put your money, in places that serve you. And there's too many ways to kind of research everything to still be afraid, right? I mean, technically, you can research anything. You can even research anything on YouTube. Any subject matter, for the most part, I feel like you can find the answers on YouTube. Even how to deal with dark things. You know what I mean? I was telling my daughter when I was talking to her, and I was like, listen, in my dark days, I totally get it. Like, I wasn't like, I'm going to seek out positivity, but the entire time, even in my dark days, I did listen to mindset stuff, and I was always thinking, not necessarily positive, but I was always thinking about, how to be better. And so like now you have endless supplies of information on whatever subject matter, And so I think one of the things in life that's super interesting is, and that I hate, is the fact that like you don't have the thought to do something until you have the thought to do it. And it's really, it bugs you when you think about it, right? Because like, I'll give an example. In 2015, I started working with this company, and it was like labor intensive, and it was like, and I dealt with a bunch of crap, like a bunch of crap. Okay. In 2019, I left that industry, right? And I left the industry, partly because of YouTube. I just had enough, and it was like, you know what? I'm doing well, and I didn't want to leave because I believe in multiple streams, right? But it just got unbearable. So I left, right? And I told myself, and I was stressed about leaving. I was like, oh my God, is this the right choice? And of course, once I left, like I was less stressed about certain things. But I mean, I dealt with a lot. So back in 2015, I never had the thought to drive Uber, right? And Uber was like a thing and just kind of starting up right back then, or 2015, 16. I don't know when it came about, but I never thought about driving Uber at all. And I would have not dealt with any of that crap from 2015 to 2019 had I thought about driving Uber, right? And so like, it's weird. Like, the only reason I ended up thinking about driving Uber is because in November of 2020, I got a Tesla, and I said, you know what? I need a new stream of income, or I need something else to pay for this Tesla. And I used driving Uber as a way to justify purchasing the Tesla. I was like, I'll get the Tesla and I'll drive it, I'll drive it with Uber and I'll make extra money. It's a luxury car. And I got the Tesla, and Uber didn't even recognize it as anything special. Now they recognize it now. They're like, oh, Uber Tesla this, Tesla that. But back then in 2020, I started in 21 driving Uber. I would have never driven Uber if I didn't get that Tesla. And there was no way in 2015, 2016, 2017, 2018, 2019, I didn't think of driving Uber. And that's just how life is. You don't have the idea until you have the idea. And then you're like, damn, why didn't I think about this years ago? That's how it is. And you just have to deal with it, right? You just, once again, the power of now, and you just move forward. Anyway, Lisa G says, thanks for sharing. Thank you, Lisa G, for leaving that positive comment. Isquasia says, right, live, not exists. Right, live, not exist. I can't listen. Right, live, not exist. Absolutely. And it's just one of those things. You're always balancing. You know what I'm saying? Like, you never get to the point and say like, I've got this balance thing down. I got this time management thing down. Like, even though, I have a habit of, I guess, waking up at 3:45 and starting driving Uber at 4:00. It don't really get easier per se. Like, I'm not like, yo, 3:45, I'm used to you. Nah, like, I still have to be deliberate. You know what I mean? Just like if you're in great shape right now, right? Let's say I'm in great shape right now. Yeah, I mean, I still have to be deliberate with the choices that I make as to what I put in my mouth, right? And if I choose to work out or not, right? Right now, I'm at the point where I'm just trying to see like how far I can push certain things with my body. I just started lifting weights. I am not a big weight lifter. Like, I like the look. I like the results, right? And it kind of feels instant. You get that instant pump. But like, normally when I lift weights in the past, I want to eat everything. So it just kind of erases the fact that I'm lifting weight. Because if I'm lifting weights and also eating hard, which happens to be carbs, right? It's going to be pointless. Like, you don't see the results. But yeah, right now I'm at the point where I'm trying to just kind of push and see and tweak. And it's kind of exciting, right? Because I'm 45. And so it becomes even harder to, do certain things and for your body to react a certain way. We got my boy David in the house, says, how much you max bench? Yo, that is hilarious. Nah, I'm not that type of dude, man. When I say I just started lifting weights, my gym is Planet Fitness, and Planet Fitness has like these 3 separate rooms. One of them is like abs and stretching. Another one is like TRX and other kind of, calisthenics type stuff. I don't know. And then there's another room that's like a total workout, but they have like machines that you can use, but it's in a room, right? And then of course they have the general big area that has all the ellipticals and the treadmills and the bikes, and then all the other, weightlifting equipments like, the bar and the dumbbells. And then they also have like the machines as well. So when I say just started, like literally, I don't know, maybe like last Wednesday, I was like, okay, bro, like you are the cardio king. You know what I mean? Like, this cardio stuff is cool, but you need to shape it up a little bit. So I just, for whatever reason, was like, you know what, I'm gonna go check out this room, because I noticed they had all the equipment in there, like they really do. But as far as max bench, nah, man, I don't even, please. I mean, I could probably do 180. Like today I did on the machine 165 on bench, but I'm not even worrying about pushing it like that. I mean, I know I should push it to kind of overload, my muscles and blah, blah, blah. But like I said, in the past, anytime I've tried to lift weights, I end up lifting plates. You know what I mean? I end up lifting plates, and it's a no-go. So I'm just trying to find that balance where I can lift weights and then still make smart choices with my food. The gym is a funny place, man, because like there are so many people in the gym, and they, let's say, in a year's time, I've seen the same people, and in a year's time, those same people have the same body, whereas like in that same year's time, in 3 months or 4 months or 6 months, my body is very different. So, there's that. I mean, there's so many components, and what's funny about life? I think life is very interesting because most of the times we know the solution, and most of the times the things that we should be doing is simple, right? It's like, you should do this and you understand this, and it's simple to understand this. However, it's not easy to do this, right? Because we make excuses. We're not honest with ourselves, right? Like I know when I get to a point and my bank account doesn't look the way I want it to look, or my body doesn't look the way I want it to look, which that's debatable, right? Like if the scale's not going down, or if I'm not seeing, new definition and whatnot, then I'm like, yo, you got to be real with yourself. Like, are you really doing the workout part? Are you really taking care of the diet part? Is your carbs, proteins, fats, is that in check, right? And most of the time the answer is no, right? Once again, doing what we should be doing, and we know the solution. It's simple, but it's not easy. Okay, and that's it. I mean, that's what's super weird about life, So it's really about execution. Lucky9331 says, "Hey Dwayne, good evening." Hey Lucky, thanks for stopping by. It's a pleasure to have you in the building. Love Blue 973 says, "I do feel good. I appreciate getting older. Like a friend said to me, if you think a person being in their 30s and 40s is old, you must not plan on living long." It's interesting. I actually had a conversation the other day with a young lady who, I say young lady, she's older than me, but like she was funny. She was like, "What? You're 45?" Because I was saying, "Yeah, my kids are 21 and 19." And she, "No, oh my God, like I can't believe it." And we were kind of talking about the fact that like being in our 40s is dope, right? Like you think 30s is like, oh my God, 30s is great, and 40s is also good. And she was like, actually, she's like, I'm enjoying my 50s, and she was 52. She was very proud to share her age. But yeah, I mean, and that's how life's supposed to be, right? Like we get smarter and we make better choices. For me, health-wise, it's super important because I know myself. I know that like, it's not going to be a good look at 65, where I'm like still eating my sweets and ice cream and having a blast. I can't go hard in the gym at 65 like I could when I was 35, or even now at 45, right? So like a lot of it for me is just being conscious and trying to get a handle on, developing good habits so that when I'm 65, 75, 85, I'm not still struggling with, my addiction to sweets. And it's funny that I'm saying addiction, but you know what I mean? Like, I love sweets, right? So like, I got to be deliberate about that type of stuff. Lucky9331 says there's a lot of these credit builder credit cards out now, like Current Credit Card and 5-Star Bank. These are credit builder types of accounts. Actually, both of those I've never heard of, and I really appreciate you slapping that into the comment section. Because of course you are absolutely right. There are a lot of credit builder cards out there, which is very, very good for people starting off with credit. It's always interesting, just because I love credit, and it's always interesting when somebody's like, hey, what do I do for XYZ? Or even worse, the people that I already have in my life, and I'm telling them like, yo, you should do this with your money, and you should invest it here, and you should do this. But people don't listen because, they're not ready, right? Just like when I didn't have my health together and I wasn't where I want to be health wise or weight wise, I wasn't ready and I wasn't serious. And trust me, I know, because I've done this journey 5, 6, 7, 8 different times. So in my head, I'm like, I've done it before. I know I can do it. I'm not ready. But like, I was ready, but I wasn't ready. Right. I can't tell you the last time I stepped on a scale. I will say that the last time I stepped on it, which I knew I shouldn't have, I knew it was going to tell me some BS I didn't want to see. It was still like I think I stepped on a scale. I'm like, it's probably going to say like 215, right? I'm like 5'9". I'm not even 5'10". I don't think. I might be 5'9.5", right? So I'm like, watch this thing say like 215, and it was like 210. You know what I'm saying? And I was kind of pissed about that because I'm like, yo, I look good. Like, I look fine. I don't, you know what I'm saying? Like it would be cool if I got down to like 190, 195 like I was back in the day. But like, my body looks different. Like, even when I was 195, I don't think my body looks the way it looks now, as far as like, definition and just the way it looks now, right? So it's interesting. I mean, I don't even worry about the scale anymore. I just kind of focus on like, like what I look like, and how I feel. Chris G says, do you have any business credit card that you apply for? I do not. The last business credit card I had was, probably back in 2019. It was the Blue Business Plus card from American Express. My little business name and business in general is kind of tricky. And kind of when I was trying to get business cards, I didn't have a good experience, so I just kind of got turned off about it. But that's probably the next direction that I should go if I'm interested in getting like points and cash back. But I just haven't been really, really passionate about it. I think I'm just I'm content being where I'm at in regards to like credit cards and stuff. Just because having 20 something credit cards, like, obviously I don't even worry about those cards. I don't even worry about using them. Like, I'm like, whatever. I've lost 2 different credit cards. They closed my account, and I'm just like, whatever. Of course, back in the day I wouldn't have felt that way, but it's just one of those things where like certain things are just not that big of a deal or even that important. As a matter of fact, I had a interesting experience the other day with a rider in Uber. And we had a great conversation. Older white lady, early 60s. I don't know. I didn't ask her age. Incredible. All right. Conversation. We were talking about everything. Grandkids, talking to her about my daughter. Because the lady used to teach English. And I'm telling her, yeah, my daughter might be majoring in English, but she wants to be a writer, blah, blah, blah. And we're talking. And I was taking her to this place in Houston. And we had great conversation. And when we got to the location and she asked me for a hug, once again, older white lady, right? Then you got me, handsome black guy, right? Driving Uber. And so I'm like, what? In my head, like, what? And so, of course, we got to the place, and it turned out that that she had cancer. And she gave me a hug, and I took her suitcase out the back of the car, and then she asked me for another hug. And it was just so interesting. Like I didn't feel sorry for her, but like, it was an interesting moment that I shared with a total stranger. Like, I don't hug strangers. I mean, it was cooler to me that it was an older white lady and that she was in her 60s in a way, because I'm like, yo, this lady could be my mom. You know what I'm saying? So it was very interesting, but we had a very human exchange. And like in that moment, right? Like the things that matters to her right now, you know, in her life, facing death per se, because she has a very aggressive type of cancer. She's not concerned with like the stupid stuff that I would be concerned with at 45, right? So you just learn, you know, after a while in life, man, listen, you don't sweat certain things, you know what I mean? I hope you don't, at least. Lucky 9331 says credit unions are more helpful than commercial banks. Credit unions have more options to help people rebuild their credit reports and histories. And I would agree with that 1,000,000%. They're definitely more interested in helping the average person. And you don't feel like you're a number, you know, like with the bigger banks. Isquaja says, yep, I was skeptical about getting a different kind of savings, listening to myths and self-doubting until last year. I researched a little. Very good. Very good. I mean, that's it. Lucky 9331 says, well said, Dwayne, with regards to keeping up with your health. A lot of so-called fitness experts tell us one of the keys to better health is our mindset. Mindset, and for me, mindset is also tied to self-talk, right? One of the guys I listen to a lot, or I've heard his stuff a lot, is David Goggins. And David Goggins talks about the fact that, like, you know, the most important conversation you have is the one you have with yourself. Literally, those are his words. The most important conversation you have is the one you have with yourself. You wake up with it, you walk around with it, you go to sleep with it, right? And so for me, mindset and self-talk are intertwined, right? Because like that's where the dialogue and the battles are occurring, right? That's where everything starts, right? Good or bad, right? Like, am I going to get up tomorrow at 3:45 to drive Uber at 4? It starts here, right? Then the next step is like set the alarm, right? Then when the alarm goes off at 3:45 in the morning, it can't be about like 5 more minutes. I don't snooze anyway. Like I've never been a snoozer. I've been very fortunate because the time period in which I grew up, we didn't have no snooze. Like just wasn't even an option, right? So for me, it's just go. You know, I set the alarm for when I want to get up and I go, right? And that's just me. I have it easy. Other people, not so much, right? So yeah, I mean, you got to just go. You got to take action. You got to execute. And I learned that. And that's just what it is. You got to execute. We got my boy Rod in the house, Points Blank Travel, who's a channel member, says How to Build Credit TV was good. D. So which credit card did you come up with? Salute and respect, bro. Much love. Yeah, I'm just going to be getting the Wells Fargo Active Cash card. As a matter of fact, that's probably the only card that I'm going to get. I actually reached out to Rod, which is Points Blank channel. Points Blank Travel. He has his own YouTube channel. Be sure to subscribe. Check him out. But I reached out to him and was kind of just trying to like, you know, pick his brain about, hey man, you know, I'm kind of thinking about getting cards and this is kind of where I'm at. And so, yeah, I'm just going to get the Active Cash. I'm not going to do anything goofy. You know, I know I don't have any inquiries. There's no need to rack up another 4 or 5. I'm just going to chill. So that's probably the only card I'm going to get just because I really don't need more cards, to be honest with you. Points Blank says, what's up, everyone in the chat? Lucky9331 said, meant to write the keys. One of the keys, yes, is mindset. No, absolutely. Absolutely. I mean, and don't get me wrong, you know, like, honestly, it took me a while to get to where I'm at. As a matter of fact, that's what I was telling my daughter yesterday. So she called me and I was on the elliptical. And I was supposed to be doing an hour, and I ended up doing like 30 minutes, you know, because, you know, my daughter wanted to talk to her dad, right? So I got to make time. By the way, if you guys have any questions or comments, slap them in the chat. I'm at the very bottom. And so, yeah, so she called me and you know, we're talking and, you know, I decided to get on the bicycle because, you know, I'm like, this is easy. So I'm on the bicycle and I'm just riding and, you know, we're talking and, yeah, I mean, we had some great conversations, you know, and I said to her, I said, like, it's crazy because we suffer more in our imagination than we do in reality. We suffer more thinking about the what ifs and what if this happens and how am I going to do this and this and that and this. And like the thing hasn't even happened yet. You know what I mean? And you just got to deal with it once it happens. You deal with it once it happens. Of course, you can plan for how you could deal with it if it happens, right? But the reality is, most of the times, the things that we dread, it's not as bad as we think. And sometimes the things that we don't want to do is the thing that we need to do to grow or to get to the next level. And that's just what it is. I mean, sheesh, I can't tell you how many experiences I've had like that, where it's like even going all the way back to like school, right? Like in school, that you're gonna have a paper to write, right? And you hear about this paper, in this English class, you're going to have to write X amount of pages, or you hear about this project. And of course, it's intimidating. You get in a class and the teacher tells you you're going to be required to do X, Y, Z, and you're freaking out. Now, of course, if you attack this early, you're going to have a more pleasant experience. Whereas if you wait till later on, you won't. But once you get it done, you're like, oh, it wasn't that bad. And then the important part, not only it wasn't that bad, the important part is you've grown, you've leveled up, and that's how it is. And I think like the first experiences of that type of thing happens in school, and then of course with other different situations. Like I remember telling my kids about, like, listen, you can't quit. Like I'm not gonna be okay with you quitting certain things in school, because if you quit this, then maybe you'll start the habit of quitting that, and then quitting that, and then before you know it, you're going to be so used to quitting. Whereas if you stick this thing out that you don't want to stick out, you're going to have the experience of pushing through, and there's growth in pushing through. And then the next time you have something that you might want to quit or that's uncomfortable, you can reflect and say, yo, I remember when I pushed through here, and you have that to draw on. A lot of the times we forget some of the great things that we've done, like I have had some great accomplishments, be it physical, be it mental, and we kind of forget the things that we've overcome, and we don't really think about the things that we've overcome unless, we're being deliberate, or unless somebody tells you. You kind of forget your resume. You forget the crap you've been through. You forget the crap you've overcome, the storms you've weathered. And when you think about that, that should give you strength to push forward. You know what I mean? That's just how it should be. I mean, that's just my 2 cents. You know what I mean? SK, what's going on, girl? Says, don't even play with me. D, what it do? Put me on. What it do? Put me on. That's funny. It's a pleasure to see you in the chat. I don't know what you're talking about regarding put me on. I'm just going to get that Wells Fargo active cash card. But if you're talking about something else, you can text me. You got my number. Points Blank Travel says, great choice. Yes, sir. Tim says, speaking of Uber, you still rolling that Honda, or did you switch it up? No, sir. I still got the Honda. My Honda has 268,000 miles on it. I love that car. Oh my God. When I tell you I love that car, I bought it in December 2015. My Honda was made in March of 2014. I got it in December of 2015. And at the time, it had 28,344 miles. Of course, I'm a nerd. I remember that type of stuff. It was 17,700. My interest rate was 7 point something %. I paid that car off in June of 2020. And I started driving Uber January of 2021. The car was 17,700. I have obviously made 3-4 times that money driving Uber. Now, of course, I got a gang load of miles on it, but I mean, as far as I'm concerned, I got my money's worth. I love my car. My car is dope. And I keep it clean. People be like, yo, your car is so clean. I'm like, yeah, I mean, it's my business. You feel me? Like, I got to get these tips, and, part of getting tips and providing a good experience is having a clean car. I mean, that's like the least I can do. Now, it's not always clean on the outside, because it's just not. But on the inside, it's clean, smells good. I had a rider come in the other day as a young lady, and she's like, oh, your car smells good. And I'm like, okay. She's like, yeah, it smells like the detergent, like Gain. And I'm like, yeah, that's exactly what it is. And she was so funny. And I was telling her, I was like, yeah, well, I gotta have this in here, because I have people that come in my car and their smell hijacks my car. They just take over my car with their cigarette smoke smell or their alcohol or their weed smell. and I freak out, I put the windows down like instantly, like, oh my God, you smell like smoke. Put the windows down instantly, kind of breeze them out a little bit. But of course, when they leave the car, I'm always freaking out like, yo, is that weed smell still in here? So I Lysol, and I pray to God that the next rider doesn't think that it's me that's been smoking weed or drinking or smoking cigarette once they come in my car. It just a day in the life of an Uber driver. These are things that I think about. SK says, tell me about it. Well, the Wells Fargo Active Cash Card is a 2% cashback card. Just a flat 2% on all your purchases. And what I like about it the most is the fact that you get $200 when you spend $500 in the first 3 months. There's no annual fee. And believe it or not, I mean, $200 back is 40%, right? So $500, you get $200 back. That's 40% back. That's almost 50%. I mean, you cannot beat that. What I talked about a little earlier was the fact that, like, if people are interested in getting this card, I wouldn't necessarily just go and apply for this card. I think like there's value in taking baby steps and getting a checking and savings account with Wells Fargo. Wells Fargo does offer a checking account sign up offer. At the time that I did it, which was sometime in 2022, they were giving $300 for their checking account when you meet certain requirements. So I had a Wells Fargo account back in the day anyway. But I did that, and I just kind of sat still for a while, and eventually they marketed to me and were like, yeah, you should apply. You're invited to apply. That's the email, and that's the stuff that I would see once I logged into the Wells Fargo account. Now, I haven't even used my Wells Fargo checking account. Like, money's just sitting in there. I think it's like a $500 minimum deposit in order to avoid the monthly fee. So I probably had like $513 or something like that sitting in the account. Yeah. So Lucky9331 says, Dwayne, on a slightly different subject, have you heard about some of the major banks replacing or supplementing the physical dollar with digital dollar? Have you ever invested in gold or silver? I have not, but I know gold and silver is a big deal, and I know that people talk about that. It's kind of like people talking about trading currencies as well. I know that people do that. I just haven't. I was never big in it. It's one of those things that I'm not knowledgeable about. I will say that whenever I hear about different things, I'm very diligent about not overextending myself or like trying to learn a whole nother thing, right? Because like crypto is another example, right? And of course, like Forex trading as well is another example, right? These are things that I could explore, but like, you know what, let me kind of master this one thing and ride this one thing out first, before I, spread myself thin and do multiple things. It's kind of weird because like, it's interesting and easy to get drawn in different directions if you're not careful, right? Because, if somebody tells you, oh, this is working for me and blah, 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 and then you try it and it doesn't work for you, because that's what happens, right? So, yeah, I mean, I do know about gold and silver, but no, I've never done anything with them. Points Blank Travel says, yeah, D, ever since we talked on the phone, I've taken a very close look at some hotel credit cards. Stayed at the Hyatt Regency this past weekend. The power of points. Now, these are facts, bro. I saw somebody's video on YouTube talking about a Hyatt property that was in Jamaica, and it's a very, very nice hotel. And they use points. And I was like, of course they did. And of course, Hyatt, I'm like, I don't have no relationship with Chase, you know what I'm saying? Because I feel like it's a Chase joint, right? Or am I wrong? I feel like it's a Chase joint. SK says, D, tell me about the 3,800 and the 3,468 forms, and connect my personal. How do you take credit from another source and transcribe it to our personal? Hey, you got me on that one. You got me. Oh my God. SK is like hating on that Mary Jane. Of course I'm hating on it because I don't smoke. You know what I'm saying? I mean, I have nothing against people that do. And it's crazy, right? Like, I'm Jamaican. I'm from Jamaica. Like, you smell weed more than you smell cigarette. At least I do, right? So yeah, I don't know. Lucky 9331 says, do you think it is somewhat easier to get a particular credit card with a bank if you have a checking and savings account with the same institution? Absolutely. I think that's a foot in the door, and I think that if you do it right, and by doing it right I mean like establish the relationship and rock it out for at least 6 months, use the card, you know what I'm saying, use the products that you sign up for, and then in 6 months maybe they'll reach out to you and tell you that you're eligible for one of their credit card products. And that's like the ideal situation. Now of course this advice is not going to be the same for someone that has a 500 credit score, right, or a 450, right? You could be with them for 2 years and apply and they still reject you. But depending on who the institution is, like you alluded to earlier, especially if it's like a credit union versus a big commercial bank, you're going to be more likely to get approved and have more positive experiences with a credit union. Also, if the bank has a secured card, you want to go the secured card route. You feel me? Like that's just, and if you want to be extra safe, maybe you get the account and you wait 3 months or 6 months and then go the secured card route. But you may not have to do that depending on who the institution is. David says, what was the other cards in consideration? I wanted I wanted a relationship with PenFed Credit Union, and I was thinking about getting their Pathfinder card, but that's kind of like geared towards travel. And one of the main turnoffs was the fact that there's a $95 annual fee. And I'm good on annual fees. Like I really shouldn't be trying to add annual fees. As a matter of fact, I was talking to Rod, Points Blank Travel. I was talking to him about upgrading my Marriott card with American Express to the Marriott Brilliant card. And I wanted to get that card simply because of status and what that allows you to access, right? And it's a hotel card, right? So it's like the annual fee is $695. And I'm like, yo, I do want the status and I could probably justify it, but at the end of the day, it's not really worth it. So at the end of the day, when it came to the PenFed card that I was interested in, I was like, it's a travel card. Like I'm good. I don't need another annual fee, credit card. And they hurt my feelings because I mentioned earlier that I kind of did the pre-qualification 3 different times. And I think I may have entered 3 different incomes. And I'm sure that had a red flag go up when I did that. So I decided not to apply for it at all. Lucky 9331 says, oh, I see. Good point. You're right. Yeah, trust me, I have dabbled in so many different things when it comes to like things that I've tried to be successful. I have, made websites. I remember I had a website that I made and I was talking about the elliptical versus the treadmill. And the purpose of that site was to use Google AdSense, Google advertising, right? I'm going to put Google ads on my site, right? There's a partnership with Google. And of course you can, say you want this size of an advertisement or this type of an advertisement, and you just kind of paste it in the code of the website. And of course, if your website is shown on Google, right, organically, because somebody's researching the difference between the treadmill or the elliptical or the benefits or whatever, and your site pops up and they're reading and they click on an ad, you make a little bit of money. And I do mean a little bit of money. I've tried a lot of things to be successful in the past, like a bunch of different online businesses. So I definitely get hopping from this thing to the next thing to the next thing, all for the sake of success. And, you can kind of just end up being in the same place. And success is very interesting when it comes to, investment type of things, because it's not like your journey is never a straight line. Even the journey of our life right now, it's not really a straight line. There's bumps in the roads, there's detours, right? You got to U-turn sometimes. You feel me? Like it's crazy. And that's how success is when it comes to certain things also, right? Investment wise, or like thinking outside the box wise, or second, third, fourth stream of income wise, it's tricky and probably not likely that you're going to continuously increase, right? Let's say you made X amount of dollar this year. Now next year you want to make, 20% more, and then the next year you want to make more. Like, yeah, that's ideal in a way. It's not ideal. That's like the perfect scenario, right? And it's definitely not realistic, right? But these are the things that we think and we want, okay? The only thing that, not the only, but one of the things that you may have that type of success with is maybe investing in the stock market, and maybe over time, and we're talking 10, 20, 30 years, your overall returns will continue to grow and compound and just magnify. I mean, it's interesting because like you can have that same success if you had the ability to invest, put your money into a savings account, and if you were just getting 4% every single year, for the next 10 years, that money's going to grow because that's how that works. And that is more reliable than like trying to do a different business here or this type of investment here. But that takes longer. So, you know how people are, we want it and we want it now. Points Blank says, yeah, it's Chase. That's what I thought. The Hyatt points. Lucky 9331 says, success is never a straight line. That's true. I try to keep an open mind while minimizing risk. Yeah, I mean, it's tricky. Like, it's so funny because, like, I don't know. I am super duper conservative in a lot of ways in my life. But when it comes to making money, I'm not as conservative. And that's very interesting because it's not like I want to lose money, I have money invested on Webull, which is an app, and I am very negative in my Webull account, right? But slowly and surely, I am making progress, and I've talked about this before. The fact that like we undermine the small steps, we undermine the small successes. We don't. Maybe undermine is not the word, but we don't value it, right? Like if I know I'm trying to lose weight and I step on the scale and I'm down, 0.7, not 1 whole pound, but 0.7, right? I'm gonna feel some type of way, right? Because I put in all this work and I feel like, I should be down at least a pound and a half, right? Because that's ideal. That's the perfect scenario for all the work that I've put in. But I don't value the fact that I'm still down 0.7, right? As if the 0.7s don't add up. And so that's what I mean when I say we underestimate and we don't value the small successes. We only value the big ones, right? And we rather the big ones, as if the small ones don't still add up to the same destination or arrival point. But they do. By the way, if you guys have any questions or comments, please slap them in the chat. Your boys got to get up at 3:45 in the morning. So if you have any questions, and if you haven't smashed the thumbs up, please smash the thumbs up. But if you have any questions, please throw them in the chat. It's been an honor to be here today to see you guys and serve. Thank you guys for taking a portion of your Labor Day out and, communicating with your boy, congregating, if you will, with your boy. If you have any questions, though, slap them into the chat. I'm going to stick around for the next minute just to make sure that everybody is good. Points Blank Travel says, D, I know it's off topic, but check out Marriott stock. Since we talked about their cards, it's on fire. Hashtag money moves. Is it on fire? I'm going to check it out right now. Okay. A little overnight stock market situation is going on right now, I think. Right? Yep. It's funny. I definitely should have invested in Marriott back in 2020, and like Royal Caribbean and some of the cruise lines. Okay, I see it here. Let me see what this dividend payment's like. 0.89%. Okay, I'll have a look. Thank you, sir. I appreciate you, my brother. I appreciate you. Once again, if you guys have any questions or comments, feel free to slap them in to the comment section so I can answer your question. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. Let me look and see what your new handle is. Love Blue 973. Thank you so much for that $10 super chat. Appreciate you. Lucky 9331 says, yes, thank you for all your advice. Oh man, absolutely. It's my pleasure. I mean, listen, it's an honor to be on here. I just love the fact that I turn this camera on and people kind of show up and we converse, And I mean, on my side, I'm just in a room. I'm just in a room by myself with all these lights on and a microphone in front of me. And it's man, technology is incredible. And in this moment, it's very incredible. So definitely my honor to be here and provide any kind of info. Lisa Love Beauty, what's going on, girl? It's been a long time. Hey, you had that same profile pic for a minute. I see you. And thank you for stopping by. She says, hey, D, long time no see. Yes, ma'am. Absolutely. Thank you so much for stopping by and just saying hi. I appreciate it. I love when people that have been around for a minute stop by, and not only stop by, but like take the time to make a comment in the chat, because that's the only way I will know you are here or you were here. But yeah, it's an honor. It's an honor. Love Blue 973 says, you're welcome, my friend. Thank you so much. You're always so kind. You're so sweet. Always. I appreciate you. Appreciate you. It's going to take a while to get used to seeing this this username, though, because I'm like, wait, what? And I would not have known it was you. Like, I wouldn't know. All right. So I'm going to stick around once again just for one more minute just to make sure that everybody's cool. I see that we have 19 viewers right now. If you haven't smashed the thumbs up yet, please do so. But if you have a question, slap it into the comment section and I will answer it. If not, you know, your boy's going to be getting up on out of here so I can get my beauty rest. You know what I mean? I must admit that I don't sleep. I normally don't get more than 6 hours of sleep because, like, best case scenario, let's say I go to bed. Let's say I start sleeping at 9:45. 10, 11, 12, 1, 2, 3. That's 6 hours. It's super hard to be sleeping by 9:45 for me, and definitely can't be sleeping by 8:45. You know, it's 8:16 right now. Yeah, I mean, man, you know what? I should be watching the little Richard thing. There's a Little Richard thing going on right now on CNN. Actually, I think it started at 8 p.m. Central, 9 p.m. Eastern. Anyway, I need to check that out. But it's been my honor, you guys. As usual, I had a blast with you guys here. I hope you guys have an incredible week. Lucky9331 says, I'm watching you all the way from Bronx, New York. Visit New York City. I remember your channel. Oh, that's so funny. Yeah, man, I appreciate you. As a matter of fact, you know, I did there's some little shopping plaza in the Bronx, and it has BBQ in the plaza, as well as Olive Garden. Olive Garden? I don't remember if Olive Garden was there, but I know they had BBQ in there. You know what I'm saying? It's literally, you know, there's only like one plaza there in the Bronx that has BBQs in it, but definitely had a blast. Anyway, I hope you guys have an incredible week, and I will see you guys the next time. All right, until next time, take care and be blessed. Peace.